today our goal is that we want to go to the Azure portal and we want to go and use AKS, Azure Kubernetes services, and create and host an MVC application or something out there, right? So I'm going to go and share my screen. So, sorry. Let me exit from all this. Right. So let me log into Azure portal first. Where is it? Okay. So what our goal is, so let me log in here. What I've done is, first thing, so this is what we intend to do. Okay. Remember yesterday, we were trying to create using Minikube, but today let us try to use some professional service out here. So we said, right, Kubernetes is what? Kubernetes is nothing but a cluster of nodes of Docker. Okay. Putting in simple words. So what we'll do is we will use the Azure Kubernetes services. Okay. So this is the goal here. So we will use Azure Kubernetes services, right? And we will create, must be 5 nodes kind of a thing out here, right? And we will try to host an MVC core application into one of these nodes out here, right? Now for that, the first thing what you need to do is that you need to go and upload an image. So for example, some MVC core application or some application, right, web app, you have to upload on a container registry. So what we'll do is for that, we will use ACR, that is Azure Container Registry. So we will have our Docker running. You can see at this moment, I have my Docker running out here. This is my Docker, which is running, right? And inside this, I have a MVC application, which is running a sample one. So from here, what I will do is I will first go ahead and publish this to ACR. Step 1. Step 2, what I will do is, step 1, I will create the ACR first. Step 1, I'll create the ACR. Step 2, I will go and I will publish this to ACR. Step 3, I will attach this ACR with AKS, right? So I'll say that, okay, attach this ACR with AKS, right? And then what we will do is, we will then go and write a YAML file, right? And we will say, go ahead and deploy this ACR into this one of the nodes out here, right? So we will use for that kube control command, right? So there are 4 steps out here. Now, guys, what I'll do is in today's lecture, I really want to just cover the first, second, and third step. Because, why not the fourth, the final step? Because I want you to explain the YAML. So I'm not sure that in this 1 hour, it will be possible or not, right? Let us see how much we can. I'll try to run. The YAML is already out here, right? So if you see what I've done, step 1, I have an MVC application. So what I did is over here in this Docker, you can see we have containers. It has gone. Okay, let me do like this. So I've written down the notes as well. So you can see here, there is this ASP.NET Core sample. So there is this ASP.NET Core sample. So rather than breaking our head out here, what I was thinking is, what happened? Yeah, so we have this ASP.NET Core sample out here. And what we'll do is, let us go ahead. Let me see this images. I have this ASP.NET app here. Let me go and delete this, so go and delete this. Okay. Okay. Delete forever. Okay. So what I will do is, so we have the Docker here. Let me go here, command prompt, right? So the Docker is installed. It is having a Windows container. So all that is configured. Please, people who have just come in today, if this is your first lecture, then it's going to go all bouncers, huh? So let us see if we can check our Docker version, right? So Docker is all configured and everything is out here. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'll just go and run this. Look at it. What this is saying is that this is saying take that sample, right? Name it as ASP.NET Core. Remember, Docker run, Docker build. So we are not doing a Docker build now. So actually, I was thinking to do a Docker build, but I said that would be too tedious, right? So what we are doing is we are just saying Docker run, take this ASP.NET sample, what you have here, and just go and create an image. Okay. Just try to run it. Okay. So if I say Docker run out here, now the first thing what it will do is definitely, it will actually try to load the image also. So if you see here, he has actually loaded .NET samples, and in the container, we should have our application running. So if I open this, I will see our application running. Okay, so there it is. They have just created a simple page out here. It just says that which is a recent .NET version I have, and some CPU architecture and so on, processor architecture and so on, right? Simple application. And this is what we want to go and host it on Kubernetes, right? AKS. Okay. So now at this moment, it is running locally. Okay. So now let us go here. So let's go to our Azure first. So first thing is, remember the first step is, so we have the Docker image here. Okay. We have the Docker image here. Just close this. So we have the Docker images here, right? So this is the Docker image, .NET samples, right? When I say Docker run, it has created it. The first thing what we have to do is we have to take this and put it into ACR, Azure Container Registry, right? So I'm going to go now here and create an Azure Container Registry. So we can just say ACR. Container Registry. I'll just create a ACR out here. What I've done is I've just created a resource called a res delete 123. So that I can delete everything later on, right? Remember, we will only do till the YAML. The YAML file, I need a proper 30 minutes to explain. So that we'll do in the next lecture, right? So for now, we will go till the end, but the YAML explanation, the deployment we'll do in the next class, because I don't want to rush in this demo. So now here I'll say, so let us see here. I'll just say correspond ACR, right? There is already there. Correspond ACR Sunday, bad name, right? Okay, so this is here. Review and create. Okay. Now, the next step is from our PowerShell out here. Now, what we need to do is we need to take the images and start uploading it, right? So for that, we need the AZ commands, the Azure AZ CMDlets, right? AZ PowerShell things, right? So for that, please make sure that, which I've already done in my computer, you need to go and install this Azure CLI. So either you can run this PowerShell like this, but in my case, I already have that Azure AZ commands installed. So just make sure that you have the AZ CLI. So let me go to the steps out here. Create a VM, right, for MVC core. Load this image into Azure registry, right? But before that, must be, install Azure shell. So this is out here. You can see install Azure shell, right? Remember, over here, you can see I'm saying Docker build image, but in my case, what I've done is I've just taken one ready-made from the top, right? So we don't have to upload our MVC core image and build it. So I just said Docker run, took up a sample thing, right? We also need to download this kubectl. So we'll come to this, but the most important is make sure that you have Azure shell out here, right? So if you see at this moment, if I go to my PowerShell, I have my Azure. Let me go to the command, not to ISC. So over here, you need to practice 1 or 2 times, guys, or it's very difficult to remember all this. So if I just say AZ, I don't know, hyphen version, is it? I don't know, or AZ version, right? So there it is. You can see I have the Azure CLI running, right? So the first thing is, from here, you want to go and upload the images, isn't it? Right? So first you have to go and start logging in. So I'll say AZ login. And let me log into my account. So this is my account, correspond interview question, very bad name. There it is. So I'm logged in. And if my login is successful, you will see in my CLI, right, in the command prompt out here, you will see that he has brought the tenant ID and all. So that means that everything is working. Okay, good. Now the next thing is, let us see our names here, Docker images, right? So this is our image here, .NET sample, and it is tagged with ASP.NET app. So remember, there is a URL and it is tagged with ASP.NET app. Normally what happens is, there is a URL out here like this, right? From where this image was pulled, and there is a version like 7.0, like you can see latest or something, right? But here I think they have not kept any version. They have just said ASP.NET app, right? So the next step now, what we need to do is, we need to go and tag that image. Tag that image means what? We will say that we want to create a copy of that image. We want to create the copy of that image. Look at this. So we want to create a copy of this image, right? Which points towards, which we will actually upload it to the Azure ACR, right? So look at it. Docker tag. So which image you want to tag? I want to tag this samples, right? So I want to tag the samples. And what is the version? Currently, it is ASP.NET app. That tag is actually should be a version. And where do you want to upload this? So I want to upload this to our ACR. So you can see this is our ACR which is created. So we need to get the URL of this. So this is correspond acrsunday.io. So we want to go ahead and upload it out here. And must be, we want to name it as sample app or something, right? So right, and I will just say sample app. Now with this, what it does is, it actually creates an image. It creates a copy of that samples, which points towards the online ACR. Okay, so if I say run this, you can see now, if I now go and say Docker images, you will see now he has created, he has created a correspond ACR Sunday sample app, which is pointing here, right? So now once this is done, now I can say Docker push, right? So I'll say Docker push that sample online. Okay. So I'll say here Docker push. Remember, once you are inside a project, right, these commands actually become very easy to type. At this moment, you must be thinking that this is too much of work. But once you are in a project, you get habituated to type these commands. So, right, to this I want to publish it. So I'll say publish it. So you can see it has published, unauthorized. What happened? Good, great. This is good, nice. So what it says is that, so you will say, sir, you have logged in, right? AZ login. Why it is saying unauthorized? So you have to log in into your ACR also. You have just logged in into Azure. So you need to log in into ACR. So to log in into ACR, I will just say AZ ACR and the name of my ACR. Okay. So I'll say, I want to log in into, what is that? Correspond ACR Sunday. Horrible name, huh? So means, remember, AZ login logs into Azure account, into your tenant. But if you want to log in into ACR, again, you have to say AZ login with the current credentials, right? So there it is. Good, login succeeded. Nice. So now let us go ahead and again try to fire the Docker push. Yeah. Now you can see it is doing a Docker push, right? So step one, we have uploaded our image, our local image to online. Why to online? Because Kubernetes will pull that image and load it into one of its nodes. Please understand it, right? So now once this is uploaded out here, so inside my Azure now, I should be seeing this in the repository, right? So there it is. I can see the sample app, right? And this is my, so latest, and this is my URL. You can see that is where our, so you can see that is where the URL is, right? So we have to pull this URL and load it into AKS, right? So what I'll do is, now remember, AKS, takes some time to create. So let me go and create AKS out here. Kubernetes, you can just say services, right? It takes a little bit of time. You can see I have one created out here, but let me create one more. So let me create everything in delete 1, 2, 3 so that I can delete it. The name I will keep it as correspond Sunday. Sunday. Eight. Does it take numeric? I don't know. Fine. So here it is. And I just want node only one at this moment. Let me keep it manual. I just want two nodes. That's it. Uh, okay. There is. Oh no no. So what? Like I can't take five nodes. Oh, let's two CPU. Uh, hmm. What happened? I think I don't have. You know what? Actually, I already have a Ux. Actually, let me go and delete this. I think he is saying that your quota is full or something, right? So let me delete this. Man, let me do that. This again takes some time, to delete also. Fine, but I'm just deleting it, right? So create Kubernetes cluster. Remember, my account is a normal account, so sometimes. Okay. So he's saying that I'll create 1 to 5. I'm okay with that. This is all okay. Networking, you can see that it is saying that you want to create your own VNet called as KubeNet. I'll say yeah. So that everything is into one KubeNet, into one cluster, right? Basic, what happened? Man, fine, one node count. Come on. Or like, can't I just at least, it doesn't allow me to select two also, I think. That cluster is still deleting, right? Okay, guys, we'll go with one. But remember, you can take two as well here. I don't know if will allow me one also now. It's giving me errors out here. Hmm. Auto scaling. And this guy is going to take long time to delete, isn't it? Shack. Something, unpredictable. Actually, I practiced Kubernetes before coming in here, but I forgot to delete that service. And it is now saying that all is request, huh? Uh, something or other has to get stuck in the sad. Okay. Oh, let me do this again. Hate it. I don't know to take any other region, because if I take other region, I can again go in a problem. Okay. So guys, we'll wait for that that this Kubernetes service to delete. I'm sorry, I was what is the standard? Okay, fine. Okay, so he's saying that this was okay, fine. For deploying a test app. How about this? Okay, can I take some cost optimized one? Hmm. Okay, fine. So guys, let this get deleted out here. Let us not try to rush. I think because and you know what, I wanted to show you how to use UX, and so that's why I didn't know that this is a problem out here, right? Fine. Okay, must be some suggestions for someone can help me. Yeah, man, I have no quota. Oh yeah, but raise the request. Where do I go now? It is night to raise the request, right? Hey, deleted Kubernetes services, right? This is how you play around during the meetings, right? If something is not working, but I think everything is learning, right? At the end of the day, so even if you're looking at my quota limit, that is also learning. Fine, it got deleted, guys. So I hope now I'm able to. Horrible. Now everything is deleted. Allow me to do it. Isn't his mind refreshed still? Yeah, something. Yeah, I put 1 and 2. Harmeet, I put all that. I'm doing it. I put 1. He did not allow me. US East. In the manual, I just said 1. Give me 1 node. Forget about everything. And what the error he gives here is that the maximum node count you can select is 0. Let's select 0. What do I do, right? And if I say auto scale, the current says node size is minimum node requirement 2 CPU. How about like 1 and 2? When I go to change size, I find all this. Okay, fine. So everything is getting stuck, huh? Okay, let us see. So I put this here, right? Put this set publish out here, right? Yeah, I need to get that thing in, or else it is not working. We will need the cluster. Let's see some suggestions. And resources under RG associated with UX. Good. I think good suggestion. Actually, what I did is I had a container registry, and this guy is associated with it. This is a good suggestion. Yeah, thank you, Piyush. Let me see that. So, guys, Piyush has suggested a good thing. This correspond ACR was tied up with that UX, So I don't know, must be he's having a hangover. Just deleting it. That should be quick. Okay. All right. So this is our correspond ACR Sunday, right? So I'm deleting it. Deleted. Let us see. I think the name is bad. Somebody said right. Mm-hmm. This is 1 to 5. I have no idea now, guys, what to do. Can I? This would be very bad, actually. Let me do that. He's doing something. I just changed to US to something. Okay. Hmm. But you know what? I'm worried. My cluster is in East US. I'm sorry. Can I try it once? I just don't want to take risk. Looks like he has allowed me. It takes time, huh? It takes some time to, even if you delete the Kuber, the Ux, it does not allow you. Okay. I can see that. Okay, great, good. So there it is, guys. It looks like it is allowing us now. Lucky. So I've said basic. I've given name as correspond Kuber. I think the name I've changed, so things are good. I'm just keeping it auto scaling, right? 1 to 5 node count. So sorry, guys. I was not aware of this. I thought that I have a good license. I can also go to production in this tenant, but I don't know. Okay, so I'll create this, and this takes again some time to create. That is the problem. Okay, create it. Okay, so there it is. It is creating the Kubernetes cluster. Now, what are the next steps? So let's go to the next steps. So the next step first is, so we have pushed this to the ACR. Okay, this one. The next thing is, you know what? Actually, over here, there is something called as integration. I could have gone there to the integration and I could have said that connect this ACR to this cluster. But now that I have not done it, so I have to fire the command, right? Remember, guys, in the UI itself, you can go and you can say that this Ux connects to the ACR. Remember, you have to do the connection or else it is not working. Now that we have not done it. So what we have to do is, so what is our ACR name? Our ACR name is correspond Kube, right? So now we have to go and fire this command. So we want that. Remember that is in the UI itself, guys. I just forgot about it in this whole tension that I'm not getting the nodes. And the resource group is res delete, right? So res delete 1, 2, 3. And attach that ACR. So our ACR is correspond ACR Sunday. Remember, guys, this is in the UI itself. Now that I don't have it. And this, what we'll do is we'll fire from the PowerShell. Okay. So you can see deployment in progress. Again, the same thing. It takes time to create this Ux out here. Okay. Any questions, guys? Till now, we can take questions as well, right? So until this happens. Sir, I have joined the class from yesterday. How can I see the previous live streaming? You can just go to log into Quest on Teachable and you should see the things, Can you try deleting the resources? Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, sleep and sleep. Don't worry, Right. Seems like you have, yeah. Okay. So guys, let me tell you what I've done till now so that we are in sync. I took my image, what was locally, and published it to ACR. I'm creating the Ux cluster. I will attach the ACR to Ux. And then what we'll do is we have a deployment.yaml file. So here it is. So we will have such kind of a deployment.yaml file, right? This is here. And what we'll say is that we will say deploy in this with the name sample app1. Pull that from that registry. If it is not present, then don't do anything. But if it is present, then pull it from that registry, right? And host it in the 81 port, right? So whatever is our cluster IP address, we will say whatever is the cluster IP address, there we can say sample1 and the 81, right? So that's how it will be done. And to run this is a deployment file. To run this deployment file, we will need kubectl, right? The kube control. So we can download the kube control from here. Remember, all these links are given. So you can see that I've downloaded kubectl.exe, and that is all present. That kubectl.exe is all present into this folder, right? So into this folder, I have the kubectl. I also have the deploy.yaml file. Now in the deploy.yaml file, we have to make some couple of changes out here, because remember our ACR has changed, isn't it? So our ACR is, so until that happens here, so our ACR is here. You can see it is still doing it. So I'll take this I mean, like ACR means we have to take the straightforward repository and not the actual top ACR. We have to actually take the sample app repository. So over here, we have this thing. So copy this and we'll put it here. So we are saying him, go ahead to the correspond ACR Sunday and the sample app latest, download it and try to publish it, right? So this is the deploy file, right? And then what we have to do is, once this is done here, remember we are logged in here, guys. We are logged in here, okay? Then what we have to do, we'll go to that CD, we'll go to that code, that folder. Remember, this whole thing is into this code folder. So it's all into the code folder out here. So I'll just deploy this. I'll just delete this because this is the only file we want. So here now, we'll go inside CD code. Right over here, we will go and fire this command, kubectl. So remember, we have to, that deployment should work first. So once we are done here, we will go and we will say kubectl apply this deployment.yaml, right? And now you're already logged in right to the ACR. So we'll take the deployment.yaml and try to take that image and try to down the image from the ACR and try to upload it into the node and try to make it live, right? So this is the final step we will do. Okay. What is it? Still it is doing it. Okay. Looks like it has completed. Okay, has it done it? Kubernetes services. So there it is. Request on Kuber. Fine. Okay. What you can also do is, for example, now, what we can also try to do is, for you're already logged in. Remember, you're already AZ login is already done. We can also go and try to and the kubectl is here. Please note, kubectl is here, right? So we can go and you can fire some commands like we'll say, okay, kubectl, try to get the nodes. So kubectl, I'm sorry. Try to get the nodes in this pod. Now you can see here, what he's trying to do is he's trying to go to correspond UX and he's saying, I'm not unable to connect, right? I think one more step which we need to do is we need to say that before firing this kubectl command, see, like people can just fire kubectl anywhere, right? So what we need to do is that we need to go and say, get the credentials, so that I can fire this. So we need to go and fire this command first. So let us do it. So we'll say that first get the credentials and then only we can fire those kubectl commands. So what is our cluster name? So get the thing for, we have not done the attach, guys. We have to do the attach. I'm so sorry. I forgot about it. We had written the code, but we did not do it. We have to attach as well first thing. Where is that notepad? Somewhere. Yeah. So we have to go and attach this or else it will not work. Okay. So let us attach the Kubernetes with the ACR, the registry. Okay. So let me first do this. Remember, our session is open. AZ login is already done. So this should work. You can see doing some propagation, something. Right. And this I should have done at that time only. This is very risky at this moment. Because if something goes wrong here, then the whole demo fails. I'm now deleting that Kubernetes UX and then again doing it is a long task. Okay. Right. Once we do this, The next thing is to fire the kubectl commands. We also have to give, we have to also have this also, right? So over here, what we will do is, so here, this command gets credentials. So what is your cluster? My cluster is correspond Kuber, right? What is your resource group name? My resource group name is res delete. So what we are saying is that allow me to fire, get the credentials, and allow me to fire those commands, right? But you can see this is still running. So let us first get this. Yeah. Remember all the steps I listed out here. These are all the steps. Download exe, AZ login, tag the image, update it, right? I mistake. Okay, any questions here? Any queries? Let us see. So sorry. Can you share a sample Docker file? And yes, see all the Docker files, guys. Just quickly, I think I've already shared with Questpond. Let me know, Questpond, if I've not shared. See, all this thing, whatever I've done here is all here. So if you say you want to have a Docker file, which is with simple Kestrel, this is it. This is the Docker file. See the video, Docker file. Then you'll say, no, like I want to practice with IIS, then this is it. We want to do with EF Core SQL Server, this is it. With ASP.NET Web Form, this is it, right? With SQL Server, something else, with simple IIS hosting, right? So all these are Docker files out here. I'm sorry. And you can try that out, right? And in this Kubernetes, right, what I've done is I put the UX steps, I put the deployment, I put the minikube commands and all. Okay. So, oh gosh, finally it has done something. Huh? There's no red. Okay. So now the next thing is what we'll do is, great. So that is fired, guys. The next step is, see what I would suggest now, just try to see, once you start working, let's say that if you are in a project, right? And once you start working with Kubernetes and Docker, these commands are like, you will become hands-on. So, and I won't suggest you to by these commands and steps. What you should just remember is, okay, we needed a YAML file. We needed to create ACR. We needed to do a Docker push or upload it, right? And then we need to connect to that. So just try to remember the broader steps, right? Because what happens is after some time, all these commands change within 3 or 4 months, right? And the video becomes outdated. So, but the basic structure does not change. Okay. So we had this thing also. So let us get this. Remember, we can still not fire. If we try now also, we cannot, I don't think we can still fire this get nodes, right? So for that, we'll say, get the credentials and log in. So this is the current context. You can see now we have the current context. So now we can say get nodes, and there it is. You can see now it is saying, now my kube control commands are firing, right? Get nodes, get and all that, right? Good. Now the next step is our YAML file. Let us understand the YAML file. Okay. Any questions still here, guys? Any queries still here? Everything is done. Kube control has access. UX is connected with ACR. We are all set. Any questions here? Yes. Let me go back to this thing. Okay. Let me take this question. Remember, guys, at the end of the day, I'm not a Azure guru. Huh? At the end of the day, I also struggle with projects. I'll be very open, right? My latest project was completely unsuccessful, right? I was kicked out of the project, right? It was an Azure project. It was function apps. It was power apps. I messed it up. We had 2 developers. So just remember that I'm a trainer. And yes, I have successful projects as well, but I'm just saying, sometimes what happens, some of the questions which come in, right? I think, I have no idea of this question, right? But yeah, this one I have idea. How to maintain that one question I did not answer at the top, which you asked about Power Apps and Dataverse. Just leave it, man. This 2 weeks, this Power Apps and Dataverse has messed up my life, So I'm not guru in that, but it will take some time. So how to maintain versioning on ACR? See, ACR versioning happens by itself. Means what? When you actually do a Docker push, right? When you do a Docker push out here, okay, if I go and again, let us say when I do a Docker push, this one, right? So what I will do out here now, if let us say one what I can do is I can put a version here. Okay, I can attach a version here itself if I want to. Okay, let me say Docker images. Look at it. What I'm saying is, what happened? Sorry. See here itself. You can see now he's showing here latest, isn't it? So must be you don't show it latest here. You can say 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. If you don't write, it will just make it latest. And when you actually publish it, he will just say latest. So if you go to your ACR, by default, whatever is the latest, he will take it. But if you say, no, I don't want to take latest, I want to take 3.1 or something, then you will have a history out here. Like, for example, I'm not sure. If I try to do again a Docker push, let me do that. Where is the command? If I try to do again a Docker push, he will add one more version out there. So the current one will become latest and the previous one becomes something else. So if I try to do this again, okay, it's saying that it is already there and so on. But let me see what happens now. Over there, the ACR image. Sample app. Latest. So this is the latest. How do I see the history? No, I don't see it. I can see this is the latest one. I'm not sure he uploaded the, but here he will put the version number. If you upload it with the version number, you will say colon and V1 or something. Okay. Looks like he has not, or else, he will show me, somewhere there was a history. I don't remember. It's taking tag count 1 only. So 8, 9:15. So this is the old one actually we have. No, it has. So I mean the image has not changed, guys, right? So if I try to again publish one more out here, then he should actually put this as latest, and then you will see down like this here. It has not actually. This one you will see here version 2.0, like version 1.0 and version 2.0, and then latest, right? So this latest is the latest tag, or else you will see a history out here. Okay. Let me go. And what is the next question? And how to push the latest or the specific version to UX from ACR? So you have to just say latest. Just use the latest tag, and that's it, right? Okay. Yeah, there are no changes. You are right, Piyush. You are right. Or else, what will happen is over here, right? You can see tags. It will show me a older version down. Means it will show me here a older version. Like this, some version out here and some SHA number. So I don't know what it will show. I have 1.0 or something like this. So if now next time if I upload, right, he will delete this. He will make this as, let us say 2.0, and he will upload one more latest out here. So always that latest is the latest. That's it. So you can just say @latest. @ means this one, the URL. You can just say here sample app latest, :latest. That's it. We'll take the latest one. Okay. How to update config detail in the running container. Please know how to update inside. So, okay, how to update the app settings.json into the container. I think, so Deepak, what I would suggest now, just go back and see the old videos out there. My only thing is that if you're inside a Docker container, right, I would, last time what we did, we use the environmental variables. Let me look at this question again. Okay. I can see one message out here. Are you working for 80/20? Yes, you know about it. Good. Yes, I'm working for them. I work in a lot of software projects. Right. Thank you. You can ping me later on LinkedIn. Okay. Somebody else is also working with me, looks like. Okay. So how do you update config file returning? See, Rakesh, when you are inside a container, right, you should use environmental variables. That's it. So remember, in the container, in the Docker container, you can go and you can set the environmental variables. You can just right click and add the environmental variables. Automatically, it will override the app setting.json file. And in your MVC core application, make sure that you will say, if the app setting is there, if the environmental variable is there, you take from the environmental variable or you take from the app setting.json. Did we get that? I'm not sure. Deepak, what you have to do is you have to go inside the Docker and create an environmental variable with the same name. Let us say connection string, right? And in your startup.cs file, you have to write that code saying that dot environmental variable dot config file. I don't remember the syntax at this moment. Then it will automatically take from the environmental variable. Okay. I can see one more question here. Okay. So let us go back now there. What is happening? I'll take the questions later on. Okay, where was I? That was updated. So we were actually updating. Right. So kube control was firing. Everything was there, right? Now let us go. So yeah, so everything is here. Remember this deploy.xml, YAML, what you're seeing out here. I'm not sure it will work or not, but I want to take a special class for this. So this, I will just introduce you what I'll do here. I'm not sure this command will work also or not. So what is this? This deploy.YAML, it says that it is a structure which the Kubernetes people follow, right? In this, the most important thing is, look at this. So in the containers of Ux, what you want to do? You want to take the latest image and deploy it, right? And you can see there is a service out here. I'm saying load it in 81 port, right? So now what I'll do is I'll say kube control, kubectl, apply this YAML file. So remember this, I am firing all through PowerShell. So inside this directory, I have the YAML file. I also have the kubectl, right? So the next thing is what you will do is you will fire here kubectl, apply that deploy.yml, right? Okay, it's in my case it is YML. Let us see. What happened? What the hell? Apply config or something. Let me these commands. What happened to my command? Yeah, kube config. Yeah, I don't know where that kube config. Kube config. Remember, this kubectl has different versions, so that must be an old version. Yeah, .yml. Let us see what happens. So it says. So he says that he is not able to identify this word deployments. Now, if you see here in our YAML file, we have this word deployment, right? So he's saying that he's not able to do it, right? Let me see. Let me see my original YAML file, which was working. This was my original YAML file. That deployment is the second line. Why it is the first line here? So let me take this. I don't know why. Okay. So it is saying that this is the version of the API. He's saying that for this, I'm not finding the word deployment. I don't know why. Let's see now. Must be the structure was messed up. Let us see. What happened? D is small. What is that? kubectl API versions. Let me see. Something or something. So, okay. Actually, I was not planning to take this, but let me just check, what the error is. One of the errors, this error normally comes, if the deployment you write small, but I have not written the deployment small. So, I mean, like if you see, no kind of deployment, right? Normally this error comes up if somebody writes deployment small, right? Let me do like this. Let me go and take this. Let me see what he is calling. So what he's saying out here, the APIs have changed, so, but can I do this? Can I just tell him, go and try to see what is in the deployment? Is it? Okay, can I just say API resources? Too many things out there. Bhai. So, somewhere my syntax is. So what I'm trying to do is, API version apps v1 deployments. So nothing is wrong. Okay. Is there any spaces? These spaces are big hell actually. Remember, these are not tabs. These are spaces. It is YAML. What is wrong here, man? This is right. You should have a space. Okay, fine. So if this was working, if this would have worked, right, guys? Okay, we'll check in the next class because I want you to explain the YAML file also, right? This is the final step which is pending. We'll do in the next class. So if this would have worked, right? What would have happened is in my cluster, in my Kubernetes cluster, I should be able to over here in my nodes, right? So if you remember, we also have nodes out here, right? So in this, I should be able to, in one of the pods, he would have actually gone and deployed it. Okay, he would have said that this is deployment is done. And what I could have done is, I could have hit the IP address of my Kubernetes, this one, right? The address of this, and I should be able to browse my application, right? So now it is not there, but that's what my intention was. Okay. So guys, we'll do that in the next class because in 5 minutes, I cannot explain you because there are two files in this. Guys, please understand. There is a service file also, which I have to explain you. And I have to explain you this YAML file. And second, this error we are getting, right? So guys, any question at least till the last step, what I've done, right? I can see there's a question here. How can we create 10, 15 replicas? See, replica, you can see there's a replica property out here. So if you want to just go and say, but again, the replicas will depend on your nodes. So if you have 10 nodes, you can just say create 10 replicas. It will go and deploy in all of the nodes. Okay. See, there are two things here. In Kubernetes, in UX, let us say you have 5 nodes. At this moment, we have 5 nodes. Okay. So what he will do, he will deploy in only one node, not in the other nodes. But if you give a replica 2, what he will do is he will deploy in 2 nodes. If you give 5, all the 5 nodes are blocked. Now, in case if something goes down and if the other nodes are free, he will take that thing and try to make it live in the other node. If one node is down, some issue is happening and so on, right? So the replicas here means that you want to run all the nodes like a load balancer. I don't know how do you say it, right? Like kind of a load balancer, right? So that sometimes it go to this node and this node. But if you just give a replica 1, then there is no load balancing, right? And remember, a Kubernetes is not a load balancer. I'm just saying that if one node comes down, the another node will start working, right? So This is what the replica is for. Okay, good question. Okay, guys, so we'll stop here, right? And any other questions here? Yes. Yes, I'll check that, Piyush. Yes, I'll check that, No, that queue control was it's a new version, right? Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you very much. So in the next session will be the last session, right? We will do all the revision what we have. So next Saturday, the goal is first to complete this demo and to do all the revision. Revision means, whatever we covered till now, right? This whole thing. Remember, we had started. We'll just go through it. So the coming up lecture would be the last session on Kubernetes, right? Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks a lot. Thank you.